Well, I want to begin by thanking the Board of Trade for the invitation to speak with you about how Memorial University, your university, through collaboration and innovation, is living up to its motto, launch forth into the deep, and is fulfilling its mandate and special obligation to the people of this province. Before I do want to acknowledge Ms. Iris Penton, Chair of our Board of Regents, and our Chancellor, Dr. Susan Dyer-Knight, many other members of our board who are here, and our senior leadership team. Welcome to all of you. As defined by the Memorial University Act, Memorial has a special obligation to provide access to a university education for the people of this province. Our teaching and learning framework highlights our aspirations for our students, articulates the vision, core values, and principles of our teaching and learning, and describes the characteristics of a vibrant teaching and learning community at Memorial. The framework's foundation statement, given here, places students and student learning at the center of everything that we do. It acknowledges explicitly that our social contract to educate our students is at the core of all of our activities, including research and scholarship and innovation and public engagement. And it is through that student focus that we set our priorities and fulfill our mandate as a nationally competitive public teaching research university and all that that means. So we certainly appreciate all of your support at the Board of Trade for our students, co-op student work placements with business and industry partners, many in the room today, experiential learning opportunities, your Board of Trade Connector program for our international students and graduates, and of course the 2-week externship program. It's rewarding to see the confidence that so many of you have in our students, well-deserved of course, and to see the importance of Memorial and its students in both the board's population growth strategy research document a few years ago and its 2016 provincial pre-budget submission. In a June 2014 article in the Telegram, then Board of Trade Chair Sharon Horan asked a great question. If students are coming to Newfoundland and Labrador to pursue post-secondary education, how can we make sure that they stay here, create new and innovative enterprises, and raise their families here? This is, of course, a question of significant interest to Memorial and to the province, and we're very pleased that Memorial and the Board of Trade are starting to explore how we can collaborate to maximize our impact on areas of interest to the Board of Trade: labor force development, population growth opportunities, innovation, enterprise development. And I will explore that a little here today, and a number of the people who work with you are here today. Provincial demographics certainly frames the problem. 20 years ago, there were approximately 12,000 provincial high school graduates per year. 10 years ago, it was just over 6,000, and today there are just over 4,000. 4,000 a year coming out of our high school system. And it is expected to decline 10 to 15% in 10 years and more in rural areas. Despite these demographics, our overall enrollment has remained stable with significant demand and growth, as you might expect, in our professional undergraduate programs, business, social work, pharmacy, medicine, and in graduate programs. Of course, a key aspect is that now over 30% of our students are originally from outside the province or Canada. And with some targeted program growth, our undergraduate enrollment is expected to remain stable, which is great news, or increase slightly over the next 5 years. A good example is based on student demand and labor force needs. We continue with our 8-year plan to double the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences. We're right in the middle of that expansion with a projected increase of 500 new co-op undergraduate engineering students. The big story, however, is overall graduate student enrollment. Over the past 10 years, we've seen a tremendous increase in the number of graduate students to a total of almost 3,800 students. And of particular note is our number of PhD students, up 9% just this year, and rising from 300 in 2004 to more than 840 this year, directly reflecting our upward research trajectory and our research intensity. Our enrollment plan is to continue to increase graduate enrollment to another 1,200 students by 2020 with an emphasis on PhD students. To put this graduate student growth in perspective, in 2004, our undergraduate student to graduate student ratio was 7 to 1. 7 undergrad students to 1 grad. Today it's 4 to 1 because of the growth in the grad, and we'll move to 3 to 1 with our enrollment plan. This directly aligns with our strategic research intensity plan and goals to significantly accelerate the generation of scholarly outcomes, intellectual property, including enhancing our focus on innovation and enterprise development. And for your interest in a benchmark, public research-intensive universities driving innovation in the US typically have ratios between 4:1 and 3:1, and we're just hitting that ratio now. Private university research and innovation powerhouses like MIT and Stanford are exactly the opposite, have significantly more graduate students than undergraduates, typically 1 or 2 grad students for every 1 undergraduate, with a clear emphasis on PhD, typically 1 PhD for every 1 undergraduate, so no wonder they're powerhouses of innovation. The 2002 Conference Board of Canada's Innovation Report Card gives Canada a D for innovation, and appropriately a D in PhD education relative to other OECD countries. And we are slightly below the Canadian average for the number of PhD candidates when this was done in 2012. Canadian average is a D, and we were below that average. This doesn't reflect our current trajectory, of course. Conference Board of Canada and many others emphasize that talented people with advanced graduate education, particularly at the PhD level, are the underpinnings of innovation, and through that, economic diversification. And certainly in today's globally connected world, innovation occurs where new ideas are generated, and new ideas are the foundation of graduate research degrees. But we should have no illusions. We are in a global competition for these talented people with great ideas. We're fighting with every other jurisdiction in Canada and beyond for brain power, and we need to have what it takes to attract and retain it here. It's a challenge that Memorial is responding to strategically. For example, we've just completed a strategic international plan to better coordinate and advance the university's international efforts, including attraction and support of international students, particularly graduate and PhD students. In addition to student recruitment demands over the next 5 to 10 years, we can reasonably expect a faculty turnover rate of approximately 30 to 40%. So we'll also be looking to hire, and we need to have what it takes to attract and retain the highest quality faculty. And from Memorial's perspective, that challenge is directly related to research capacity on the ground here and the development and operation of 21st century teaching and research infrastructure. As I've said many times, addressing our aging infrastructure, particularly on our St. John's campus, is our highest priority. More than half of our buildings are 40 years or older, some more than 50, and even with significant repairs and innovations, they no longer meet the needs of a 21st century university. After significant work and consultations, we've completed a multi-year infrastructure plan, and given fiscal constraints and working very closely with our provincial and federal government partners, we have committed to be part of the solution for funding our significant infrastructure deficit. Through efficiency reviews, reallocation of existing budgets, flatlining operation budgets, capitalization of value in our underutilized infrastructure, and new revenue generation, we have committed to funding $200 million for our core sciences building and another $100 million for additional infrastructure renewal. All of this outlined in detail in our infrastructure plan. While much still needs to be done, in just the past 6 months, the federal government has committed significant infrastructure support for Memorial, including the battery facility redevelopment, our MI campus's new marine base in Holyrood, Animal Resource Center, and of course the tremendous announcement this past June of almost $100 million for our highest priority, the core sciences building, which, by the way, we expect to be putting out for retendering in the next 3 weeks or so. The construction of this facility will create nearly 1,440 direct and indirect person years of employment and approximately $94 million in labor income. I certainly want to express our thanks to the Honourable Judy Foote, Minister of Public Services Procurement. I know she talked here just last week, but her and all the members of the federal government Newfoundland and Labrador caucus for their support for Memorial's infrastructure. It really is making a difference. But I want to emphasize that our focus on increased research intensity, our growth in PhD and graduate level education, and securing appropriate infrastructure is related directly to meeting the needs for research and development in the province and ensuring that we have the talent here to support innovation and economic diversification. We are now rated 19th nationally in terms of our externally sponsored research funding. We fluctuate between 17, 19, 21, and second in Canada in terms of relative research growth over the past 15 years in the Medical Comprehensive University. And with our strategic research intensity plan, we hope to double again our research impacts over the next 5 years. Our research strategy framework defines research themes that cut across academic units and address significant opportunities and challenges that make sense for this province and for which Memorial is particularly well positioned to build national and internationally recognized research capacity. For example, we certainly recognize this province's unique strategic importance as the eastern coastal gateway to Canada's northern and Arctic regions. The vast, resource-rich expanse of cold ocean and near Arctic that has shaped the history, the culture, and the economy of Newfoundland and Labrador for centuries is quite appropriately reflected in a significant portion of all of our R&D activities that we use to define what we call our overarching coasts initiative, cold ocean and Arctic, science, technology, and society. Our basic discovery research helps us to understand fundamental aspects of cold ocean and Arctic science, and technology builds on that base to address challenges and take advantage of opportunities. And finally, sustainable society development ties it together and reflects the strength and diversity of all of our people, cultures, and communities, and with particular relevance for us, sustainable northern and Arctic coastal communities. Memorial has forged world-leading expertise in the environmental, social, economic, and technological issues and opportunities impacting Arctic and northern coastal communities, and is carrying out collaborative research and teaching and learning initiatives with our northern and Arctic communities. For example, building on significant increased investments in our Labrador Institute in Happy Valley Goose Bay, the faculties of social work and education have developed undergrad programs in partnership with the Nunavut government, tailored to the needs of the Inuit communities in Labrador, and delivered 100% in Labrador. Faculty of Medicine is a world leader in rural and remote healthcare and won national funding for delivering residency training in Nunavut. And our Marine Institute has also partnered with Nunavut Arctic College, delivering the training that is creating a sustainable fisheries in Nunavut and creating partnerships between Nunavut and Labrador. Our Marine Institute is Canada's most distinguished comprehensive marine polytechnique, providing education, training, and R&D support for ocean industries. Every year, it secures almost $1 from industry and external sources for every $1 of public investment. To meet the growing demand and the shifting challenges and the opportunities presented in the marine, offshore, and ocean technology sectors, MI has been developing the Holyrood Marine Base. The first phase opened in 2010 and includes facilities that house the Center for Applied Ocean Technology, an ocean technology small business incubation space, as well as areas for research, training, and support. Phase 2 development of the Holyrood Marine Base is now getting underway and will increase its capacity exponentially. Construction breakwater and a marginal wharf, underwater technology test bed, and a new oceanfront building will allow Memorial to undertake critical at-sea, in-water, and subsea education, training, research, and innovation. The base will also be the cornerstone of our proposed new Cold Oceans Research and Innovation Park in the town of Holyrood. In engineering, Memorial is leading many ocean and Arctic-related initiatives in collaboration with industry partners, including the establishment of a significant number of industry-sponsored research chairs, a harsh environment technology center jointly with the American Bureau of Shipping, the Center for Arctic Resource Development based at Seacor, our independent world-leading cold ocean R&D corporation, and the Suncor Energy Offshore R&D Center. Just last year, Seacor celebrated its 40th anniversary, and its $10 million Look North program was renewed by the federal government as a national center of excellence for commercialization and research in the North and Arctic. It supports safe and sustainable northern resource development by validating and commercializing satellite and other remote sensing and monitoring technologies for use in these challenging and sensitive environments. Building on our world-class strengths in our Faculty of Science and our Ocean Sciences Center, we've secured funding through national competitions to establish the $20 million Cold Ocean Deep Sea Research Facility. Given where our offshore is going, this is extremely important. And just last month, $4.5 million for an innovative research collaboration with the aquaculture industry to use functional genomics to develop new therapeutic feed formulations for farmed salmon that will reduce the rates of infection and strengthen competitiveness in the seafood market. Cutting-edge research like this, coupled with the Marine Institute's aquaculture training and applied R&D, has helped the aquaculture sector grow steadily, so that today it produces approximately $300 million in economic value and employs nearly 2,000 people. Many of these people cross-educated by our science faculty and the Marine Institute, and many of them coming from rural areas in Newfoundland. And of course, just earlier this fall, we celebrated an investment in a historic partnership between Memorial University, Dalhousie, and the University of PEI for the creation of the Ocean Frontier Institute, OFI, an over $220 million initiative, including a $94 million investment from the National Canada First Research Excellence Fund competition, the largest award in the country for that competition, $94 million. Focused on the Northwest Atlantic and Canada's Arctic Gateway, the Ocean Frontier Institute will be the North Atlantic's first transnational research organization and one of the world's most significant ocean science research collaborations with national and international partners and 4 of the top 5 ocean institutes in the world. A major component of OFI is the creation of almost 150 new positions for graduate students and postdoc fellows here, and many more expected to be attracted to our university because of our leadership in such an exciting and innovative and ambitious initiative. This landmark investment is one that truly moves Memorial from world-class to world leader in research strengths directly related to our Coasts Initiative. Our Coasts Initiative, of course, is logically centered around the marine environment, but other challenges facing our province are also being addressed. Issues like food security and sustainable agriculture. With almost 90% or so of our non-regulatory food and agriculture inputs coming from outside the province, we are in a particularly vulnerable position. So we certainly applaud a provincial goal to significantly increase, trying to double, our food self-sufficiency. Achieving this important goal will require significant research, development, innovation, partnership, and investment. Memorial has never had a School of Agriculture, but over the past 5 years, we've significantly expanded agriculture and agri-foods research at capacity at our Grenfell campus in Corner Brook. New faculty, state-of-the-art research infrastructure and equipment, and just last fall, approval of Memorial's first explicit agriculture academic program, a Master's of Science in Boreal Ecosystem and Agriculture Sciences. In its first year, it already has 17 graduate students working on a variety of research projects related to our agriculture and agri-foods needs in the provinces. Combined with our other new grad program in the Environmental Policy Institute, Grenfell campus is now building graduate student enrollment and international student enrollment for the first time, attracting postdoc fellows and researchers who are living and building their careers and lives on the west coast of Newfoundland. Finally, of course, I can't resist mentioning a tremendous achievement by Memorial students directly related to both our Coasts Initiative and food security and sufficiency. You knew I was going to talk about this. Of course, our Enactus Memorial student team, who competing as Team Canada just a month or so ago, were once again crowned world champions. Let's put this in context, and I've done this a number of times. 1,700 university campuses competing for 36 national teams around the world and 1 world champion, Memorial University. We simply couldn't be more proud. And this isn't a one-time success. This was their 8th national championship in 11 years. They were world champions in 2008 in Singapore. There is an obvious culture of leadership, innovation, action, and accomplishment with our Enactus Memorial students who together, from faculties across our campuses, running 13 different social enterprises, including their new project this year, Project Succeed. A project that in 1 year identified the problem and developed and then manufactured an affordable hydroponic system that addresses food insecurity in remote and isolated northern communities by enabling people to grow fresh produce in their homes, in their schools, or in communities, while simultaneously creating manufacturing jobs in our province for youth at risk. Joining us today are 3 Enactus student members, Laura Collis, Megan Meadis, and Emily Bland, our Enactus team president. Would you please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in congratulating them? great examples of a transformative learning experience. Enactus Memorial exemplifies our efforts to support a culture of student innovation and entrepreneurship at Memorial, efforts that we know must and should be expanded to resonate throughout the entire university. There have been many reports and initiatives on the state of innovation in Canada and also, of course, here in our province. The report Innovation Canada Call to Action provides a range of recommendations on the roles of universities in supporting innovation, and it also summarizes in this diagram the relationship between universities and commercial businesses in the R&D continuum, with, of course, the often-minded innovation valley of death, the commercialization valley of death, sitting right in the middle. It's where hardly anybody is working to make sure that you get transfer of what's happening in the R&D over into the private sector. But it highlights that universities their primary impact is first through the education of talented people and the transfer of knowledge and know-how, and second, to create new knowledge, identify possible intellectual property, and make that intellectual property available for commercialization in the private sector. The commercialization occurs in the private sector. It also highlights the important role of knowledge mobilization through collaboration and partnerships, university tech transfer offices, accelerators and incubators, and other such institutions to try to bridge that gap. We know we have so much more to do in this area, and recently we've taken a number of important steps to advance that goal, and we are committed to doing a lot more here. We certainly believe that public engagement at Memorial supports regional and provincial innovation. The Office of Public Engagement and the Harris Centre at Memorial are primary connectors for knowledge mobilization, linking our researchers with groups all over Newfoundland and Labrador, supporting active community engagement through the research process. In many cases, research is conducted in response to a community's request, based on their local needs or challenges, and is used for practical purposes at the end of the process. A great example is the recent collaboration between the Harris Centre and the Community Foundation of Newfoundland and Labrador on the Vital Signs Project, an annual cross-provincial checkup on the vitality of our communities, and of course it's here, a third copy of that is here today, but it serves as an index of who we are now and what we want to do. It raises questions about where we want to do and how we might get there. An important aspect of our plans is the development of the battery facility as a public engagement platform for creating all kinds of innovation, collaboration, and partnerships. The battery redevelopment is proceeding on budget. The graduate student residence is complete and full with a waiting list, and we expect to award the tender for the rest of the property renovation here within weeks for completion of phase 1. Several key outreach units will subsequently be moving there, including the Gardner Center for Business Development, the Harris Centre and the Office of Public Engagement, and the Genesis Centre, Memorial's award-winning business incubator for technology startups. Since its establishment nearly 2 decades ago, our Genesis Centre has helped more than 150 startups raise more than $90 million in private investments. And as outlined in Memorial's new technology transfer and commercialization strategy, which we're just starting to implement, our goal is to establish one of the most progressive technology transfer and commercialization environments in the country for all forms of intellectual property arising from knowledge creation and artistic creation. We want to at least triple the number of successful startups knocking on the Genesis Centre's door. Key to this, of course, will be fostering entrepreneurship at all levels, from our undergrad students through to the startup companies within the Genesis Centre. That's why we're excited about the new partnership between the Faculty of Business Administration and the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences, who have created the Memorial Centre for Entrepreneurship, a student-oriented center focused on strengthening innovation and entrepreneurship and technology commercialization. It's just starting its second year, and the numbers of students are rapidly growing. And social innovation also remains a high priority at Memorial through exciting new initiatives like the Center for Social Enterprise, recently launched by the Faculty of Business Administration and Social Work, the Nexus Center for Collaborative Research in our Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, and the Harris Center's emerging social innovation and civic engagement programming. Well, I hope you get the sense that we are committed to building and creating an innovative learning and research environment to foster continued success of our students, our staff, and our faculty, and of course through that continue to have a tremendous positive impact on the social, cultural, and economic development of our great province. and through that to fulfill our special obligations to the people of this province. To close, I would like to recount what the people of Newfoundland and Labrador think about whether Memorial is doing a great job. A 2014 Corporate Research Associates poll conducted by the Association of Atlantic Universities indicated 93% of people asked think Memorial is doing a good job of meeting the needs of the community in terms of the quality of the education that we provide. 87% believe the university is doing a good job of meeting the needs of the business community in providing a well-prepared workforce. And 84% believe that we are catalysts for economic development. And these positive opinions about Memorial are 20 percentage points higher than maritime public opinion about any other maritime university, including our sister research intensive university in Nova Scotia. Ladies and gentlemen, there really is so much to celebrate at Memorial as our students and faculty and staff continue to amaze us with leadership and achievement that distinguishes them at a national and international level, and I simply do not have the time today to do them justice. A number of these accomplishments and stories are highlighted in our newest online President's Report out just this week, and we put some brochures down right next to you there to leave with you. I encourage you to take one with you, and I encourage you to learn more about the wonderful accomplishments at your university. Thank you very much.